Actually, two of them, but the same question. My question is, how do you fit in working out, working 12-hour shifts, doing chores, having young kids at home? Basically, how do you create that balance when there's so much going on in life? Do you want to tackle this one first there, Mommy?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think this is what we're trying to target with solving wellness by targeting it towards healthcare professionals. Is we know that these are all of the challenges that everybody's facing, and this is why a lot of the content on there is shorter, short burst workouts, which few people have commented are quite helpful. Wellness activities, and then like food prep and things like that for shift workers. But I would say that I wasn't surprised that this question came through. I think this is probably the biggest thing that people struggle with in many jobs, but healthcare especially. Certainly I'm part of some other fitness groups on Facebook and that type of thing. And this question comes up a lot, just, about people who work shift work. And I think for all I can speak to is sort of what's worked for us with demanding schedules. And I think some really important things are to recognize that there will be days where you can do way less and days where you can do more. So typically, if you're working 12-hour shifts, you're not doing that 5 or 6 days a week. You're probably doing that maybe 4 days a week, hopefully. Maybe 5. I think some people are doing that 5 days a week. But recognizing that on those heavier days, that then also there's kids' activities in the evening, that like you take the expectation off of yourself to do a big workout, to make a really big healthy meal those days. And you shift your expectations of doing that type of thing, you shift that more into your days off. And I think when we talk about big workouts, like, I think we have to take the expectation off that we're going to do 2 hours at the gym. These short burst workouts are kind of the way to go. And if you can only fit in those 30-minute workouts on your off days, then how are some other ways that you can fit in little smaller bursts of activity or more steady activity over the course of your day? So, do you have a step counter on your 12-hour shift days? Are there ways that you can get more steps in? One thing I wrote down here is active rest. So, if you're watching TV in the evening, can you work in just some stretching and some yoga or some, general sort of plyometric type of workout for the first, 15, 20 minutes that you're watching TV before you settle into rest mode. Just doing something. So sometimes I think there's a habit thing, and we get into the habit of not doing things on our days off. And I'm saying set the expectation low, but just the idea of doing something. So one thing that really changed my life in terms of yoga was when my yoga teacher, the one who taught me how to be a yoga teacher, told me, just get to the mat. Like, just get to your mat. And if all you do is sit on your mat in child's pose or shavasana. What's that?
Nudge it's just a nudge. Just get to the
mat. And you might literally only do that for the day, but you've kept up the habit of going, and you've gotten some benefit of getting to the mat. And more than often, what you find is you get to the mat and you end up doing a little bit more than you thought you would be capable of that day. So for the days on where it's hard to fit it in, the step counter, the active rest, the just doing something, just getting to the mat type thing, or whatever it is for you, that's sort of what came to mind for me. And then the other, for the days off, maybe planning a few more things, planning your meal prep, planning an extra workout, and trying to pair things up. I think we do this a lot with our family, and in our lives, is that we try to pair up like socialization with exercise. So we do exercise with, I do it more, I think, than you, but I do exercise with people in our neighborhood, with neighbors. And so that's my socialization with them, going for walks with neighbors, doing yoga classes, Zumba, right? That type of thing.
Shout out to the Zumba crew.
Zara
Zumba crew and on Courtenay.
Yeah, Courtney has an active Zumba program. It's amazing. But yeah, and then the other thing I think that's helped with us is switching off. So taking turns with your partner. So I'll be like, hey, we're both off. We've got the kids in the evening or on a weekend. And it's like, hey, you go do your workout. And then as soon as you're done, you're back on with the kids and I'll go do my workout. So being able to sort of make a plan, if you're lucky to have a partner that's off with you at the same time, to do that.
I like it. A lot of gems in there. A couple of things that I'll reinforce. High intensity interval training, very underrated. As good, if not better, than a long sustained cardio. You could find, I mean, our website, we got tons of workout thanks to Pete Shaw and Pierre. Like honestly, you could get amazing benefits. I like the stacking. Like one of the things I've seen a few crew do on at work is on your breaks, just go for a walk. Absolutely. Just go outside, put on a podcast, put on some music, go for a walk, get your steps in. Man, you'll feel better, great energy. The other thing I would say is as much as you can, delegate off some tasks. Like if you can't afford it, if you could get somebody to mow your lawn, do your shovel your snow, that's that much more energy you have for either being for your wellness, for your kids, for you getting exercise, for you doing your meal prep. Honestly, it seems like the way I look at it is it's an investment. I think also that a whole prep idea too of like just really giving yourself the recipes for success. Have your gym equipment out right away first thing in the morning. Just right beside your bed. That's like a nice easy one. Really thinking about on that Sunday or before your 4-day run of work, having that meal prep, like knowing exactly what you're going to eat for lunch. Man, that's a game winner. And then having some sustainable way of you approaching your diet. Like we talk a lot about intermittent fasting. It's not for everybody, but maybe it is for you. Whether that's low carb, whether that's just sticking to whole foods, like no processed foods, whatever it might be, just whatever you choose, make sure it's sustainable for you and start winning, because you could do it.
Yeah.
You could do it.
One thing that I do for meals, especially for work, is if I have a couple things in the house that are like easy and I know sort of what the calorie and macro content of them are, that I can like make a really quick lunch if we don't have enough leftovers or if we don't have healthy leftovers, because I try to eat really healthy for lunch. And then that gives me a bit more room at dinner time, right? And so I just keep like cans of tuna in the house, and I have like a low fat olive oil mayonnaise or whatever mustard that I mix in with that, and then I have that with salad for lunch. That's an easy quick grab type of thing, and literally you can bring the can of tuna to work. I also keep healthy stuff at work. I don't know if that's possible for everyone who works shifts. But another thing that I'll do if I'm working a few days in a row is I'll bring my lunches in for those few days on the first day. And so I've packed lunch once. It took me a little bit longer, but then the next 2-3 days that I'm working, I don't have to think about bringing in lunch. I just go to work and it's already there in the fridge. So that's not possible for everyone if you don't have those facilities at work to keep that. But if it is, or even just keeping those lunches in the fridge that are already pre-made for those days, can be a way to make that a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Because a lot of it is planning ahead and thinking about it. But then I think the other part of it is like letting it go, and having quick solutions when you haven't planned ahead and you haven't thought about it, because we all run into that. Like we'd all love to do the perfect meal prep for the week on Sunday before we start work, but it just doesn't always happen that way. You don't always have the chance to do that. So being flexible with yourself and having in your mind the quick substitute options. So I don't have time for my hour workout today, but I have 20 minutes. Okay, on my phone, I have a list of 3 20-minute workouts that I know that I enjoy, that I can grab quickly and just slam out, so you're not having to go and like search on YouTube or search on Solving Wellness for the specific one. You just have a couple go-tos to get that workout out quickly. You remove the barriers, basically.
Word. Creating wins.
Yeah.
Okay.
The other thing on that one is that I just wanted to spend a little bit more time on this one because I think it's an issue that comes up so much. But the other thing on that one is the difference between having time in your schedule and motivation. So a lot of people sort of struggle with both of those things. And I just want to remind everyone that motivation, a lot of people think that motivation comes first before you do something, but actually the first thing that you need, like in the cognitive structure of doing a task, of activating a behavior, is initiation. You have to get started first, and then motivation often kicks in. So sometimes we feel the motivation beforehand, but that's usually because we've developed a habit and the event was rewarding, and so we want to go do it again, and we have that memory that's kind of being activated, and that's sort of our initiation. But to start an activity, the first thing we need is initiation. So that's where leaving your shoes like at the foot of your bed, or leaving your workout equipment out, or having it written on your mirror or something like that, or having the workout teed up for the next morning. So you like stumble out of bed, press a button on your coffee maker and press a button to turn on the TV, and boom, your workout's there. Like just that sort of initiation can get you started. And then the motivation kicks in afterwards. So some of those things we talked about were more scheduling wise, but also in terms of motivation initiation, there's a lot of ways to get yourself going into the habit.